Hi all. By this video, we'll take a small walkthrough on how to configure and manage a layer 4 virtual IP or the A10 server load balancer. Before we start, let's review the main benefit of the A10 load balancer. The very first advantage is the load sharing. Sharing the load among two or more servers and simply offers more scalability by adding new servers. Instead of directing many client requests to a single server, traffic is split among several servers to prevent any server from being overloaded. The second advantage is the higher availability. It provides higher availability for your applications. The A10 load balancer continuously checks the availability of each server. If the service becomes unavailable or if the server goes down, the A10 detects the failure and removes the server from the list. When configuring the A10 load balancer, there are three core elements that are involved. The very first are the real servers. The first element we will configure are the real servers hosting your applications. These are the servers that the A10 appliance will be load balancing. The second element we will configure is the service group. Service group offers a way to bind two or more services together to enhance system scalability and availability. Third element we will configure are called the virtual IPs or the VIPs. The IP is the address which user will contact to access these applications. Before we start, let's take a look on the A10 lab. This illustration shows the A10 with two subnets, an external subnet and an internal subnet. The A10 sits between these two subnets, routing the traffic back and forth between them. We will configure VIP on A10 to access the application that is hosted on two internal servers. The VIP address can be assigned in the format like 10.0.1.12. Now let's start the configuration. We will begin by logging into the A10 client. Enter the IP address in the URL in the browser and then click the link to continue. By default, the username is admin. Now enter A10 for the password and click OK. When you logged into the A10 series, summary window appears. Next, we will configure the first core element that are the real servers S1 and S2. Select the config mode and then click on the service link. Select the SLB and then navigate to the server link. Now click the add button. The server create window will appear. Click on the name text box and enter the name of the first real server. We will call the server as S1. Click inside the IP address text box and then enter the IP address for the first server. Click the port text box and enter 80. Then click the add button. The server port appears in the table. Now click OK button to proceed. The new servers appears in the table. Click the add button and repeat the steps to add the second real server S2. Both of the real servers are now listed in the A10 client. Next, we will create the second core element, the service group. Click on the service group button from the menu bar. Now click next and add button. The service group window will appear. Enter the name of the service group in the text box. Enter 80 in the port field and then click the server drop down menu. Select the first server to be configured, S1, and click the add button. The S1 server will appear in the table. Return the server drop down menu and select the other server S2. Then click the Add button to add it to the service group. Both the servers will appear listed under the service group. Now click OK button to save your changes. A newly created service group appears in the service group table. Finally, we will be creating the third core element, that is the virtual server or the VIP. Click on the virtual server button from the menu bar. Click the Add button. Now enter the name for the VIP in the name field. Then enter the IP address and click the Add button. Enter the port value of 80 and select the type as TCP. Select the service group name from the drop down. Click the OK button and then again click the OK button. That's it. We have the added new layer 4 virtual IP. Now let's validate our recent configuration by checking the status of our newly created web and the server to check if they are up and running or not. Simply navigate to the monitor mode, click on service, click SLB, and then click on virtual servers. As the arrow is green and not red, we can see that the web is up and running fine. For TCP servers on port 80, the green arrow confirms are also up and running. Now we will access the web from the external service IP. By doing so, we will create traffic on our newly created web and will use the A10 monitoring tool to validate this traffic is load balanced across our two services or not. Open another browser session and enter the IP address of our web. Now return to 8 and GUI and click on the refresh button. We will see traffic from our client. 6 sessions are loaded and has been load balanced with 3 sessions each on server S1 and S2. Now you all know how to configure the basic A10 load balancer and also how to provide the scalability and high availability to our applications. Thank you for your patience and time.